There comes a time in life when your greatest strength is not found in your words, not in the arguments you win, not in the sharpness of your tongue, but in the silence you choose. Listen to me. In a world that pokes at your scars, that tests your patience, that tries to provoke your anger and pull you into battles that aren't worth your soul, your true power is found in what you don't say. You see, anybody can react. Anybody can let their emotions control them for a moment, and in that moment, they lose themselves. But it takes courage, real courage, to pause, to breathe, and to walk away with your dignity intact. People will misunderstand you. They will test you. They will try to drag you into storms that belong to them, not to you. But remember this, you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. There is power in standing still. There is victory in keeping your peace. And when you master the art of not reacting, you begin to see how silence can speak louder than any angry word ever could. Silence is often misunderstood in a world that teaches us to always speak up, defend ourselves, and prove our point. But there's a deeper kind of strength that comes when you choose not to react. When you choose silence over noise, restraint over rage, calm over chaos, you are showing mastery over yourself. Because let me tell you, it's easy to let your emotions spill over. It's easy to let anger drive your words, but it takes real discipline, real character to hold yourself together when everything inside you wants to break loose. That moment when you choose to stay silent in the face of provocation, that's the moment you win. That's the moment you show the world and yourself that your peace is worth more than any argument. Because silence is not about being weak or passive. It's about knowing that your energy is too valuable to waste on what doesn't deserve it. It's about recognizing that not everything needs a reaction. Not every battle is worth fighting, and not every voice deserves a reply. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is to simply say nothing and walk away with your dignity untouched. Think about how many times people have tried to get under your skin and succeeded. Think about how easy it is to let someone's words or actions ruin your whole day, to let their negativity latch onto your spirit. But when you choose silence, you're putting up a shield that says, you don't get to control how I feel. You don't get to decide my worth. You're telling the world that your emotions belong to you and no one else. And in that silence, there is a message louder than words. A message that says you are strong enough to rise above the noise, mature enough to resist the urge to lash out, and wise enough to know that reacting isn't always the solution. Because the truth is, when you stay silent, people don't know what you're thinking, they don't know what you're planning, and that unsettles them. It shifts the power back to you, keeps you grounded, focused, and free from unnecessary drama. When you stay silent, you're not giving people what they want. Most of the time, people who try to provoke you are looking for your reaction. They want to see you flustered, angry, upset. Your reaction feeds their ego, feeds their need for control. But silence starves them. Silence confuses them. Silence leaves them with their own words echoing back at them, unanswered, unimportant. Important. And that's when you win, not by shouting louder, not by arguing better, but by refusing to play their game at all. You see, it's not weakness to choose peace over conflict. It's power. It's control. It's saying, I don't need to lower myself to your level. I know who I am, and I don't need to prove it with words. And in doing so, you protect your energy, your time, and your peace of mind. Because once you master the art of silence, you master the art of self-preservation. Silence gives you a chance to think clearly. When you're not rushing to react, you're giving yourself a moment to breathe, to reflect, to make choices from a place of wisdom instead of impulse. How many times have we said things in the heat of the moment that we later regret? How many times have we let our reactions make things worse? But when you choose silence, you give yourself the space to see the bigger picture. You begin to realize that most of the battles people try to pull you into are not about you at all. They're about them, their insecurities, their pain, their need to feel powerful. And when you see that clearly, you stop taking things personally. You stop letting other people's chaos become your own. You begin to stand taller with a quiet confidence that doesn't need validation. Because deep down, you know the truth. The strongest person in the room is the one who can stay calm while everyone else is losing their head. Choosing silence isn't about avoiding confrontation or pretending things don't bother you. It's about choosing your battles wisely. It's about knowing that some things are simply not worth your time or your energy. It's about protecting your mental and emotional health from unnecessary harm. When you stay silent, you're not bottling up your feelings. You're channeling them into strength, into focus, into purpose. You're saying to the world, I'm in control here. My peace is not for sale. And people notice that. They see that you're not easily shaken, not easily provoked. And slowly, they stop trying. Because they realize that nothing they say or do can pull you down from the place of peace you've built for yourself. And let me tell you, that's a power that no one can take away from you. That's the kind of strength that leaves a lasting impression, that inspires respect, even from those who once tried to break you. In the end, silence is not just about holding your tongue. It's about holding your ground. It's about standing firm in who you are and refusing to let anyone else dictate your emotions, your worth, or your direction. It's about realizing that your peace is priceless and that no argument, no insult, no provocation is worth losing it. The next time someone tries to pull you into their storm, remember that you don't have to go. You can stand in your calm and your strength and your silence. And in doing so, you'll find that you win more battles with your silence than you ever could with your words. Because silence speaks volumes. Silence is a choice. Silence is power. And when you learn to embrace it, you'll discover just how strong you really are. There's something you need to understand deep in your soul. There are people out there who thrive on getting a reaction out of you. They feed on it. It gives them a sense of control, a sense of victory when they see that they've rattled you, shaken you, pulled you into their chaos. And every time you give in, every time you let their words or actions spark your anger, frustration, or sadness, you're giving them exactly what they want. You're handing them the fuel they need to keep going, to keep pushing your buttons, to keep trying to tear you down. But when you choose not to react, when you choose to stay silent, you cut off their supply. You starve them of the satisfaction they're chasing. And in that moment, you shift the power back into your own hands. You remind yourself and them that your peace isn't something they can steal. Your dignity isn't something they can touch. Your energy isn't something they can drain. Because you've decided that you won't play their game. You won't feed their fire. And you won't let their noise shake your foundation. You see, people who try to provoke you aren't looking for understanding or resolution. They're not interested in truth or fairness. What they want is control. They want to see you lose yourself even for a moment, because in that moment they feel bigger, stronger, smarter. And they will poke, prod, and push until they find the weakness that makes you snap. That's why your reaction is their fuel. It confirms to them that they have the power to control your emotions, that they can reach inside of you and stir up anger, pain, or fear. But the beautiful thing is, the moment you stop reacting is the moment you take that power away. The moment you stand in silence, in peace, is the moment you break the cycle. It's not about letting people walk over you. It's about showing them that their games don't work on you anymore. It's about refusing to let someone else's storm drag you away from your calm. And that kind of strength, that's the kind that can't be faked, can't be forced, can't be shaken. Every time you react to someone's negativity, you hand them a piece of your power. You let their words determine your mood. Their actions decide your peace. Their drama control your day. And slowly, without even realizing it, you become a puppet to their strings. But when you stop reacting, you cut those strings one by one. You take back your freedom. And let me tell you, nothing confuses and frustrates a person who's trying to provoke you more than your silence, because they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to handle someone who refuses to give them what they want. And so their power crumbles. Their influence over you fades. They're left standing there, facing their own emptiness, because without your reaction, their words lose their meaning, their actions lose their impact, their attempts at control fall flat. And you rise. You stand taller. You walk away with your head high, knowing that no one can take your peace unless you hand it over. Silence is not the absence of strength. It's the proof of it. It's the choice to protect what matters most, your peace, your dignity, your energy. Because at the end of the day, that's what these people are after. They don't care about the argument itself. They don't care about right or wrong. They care about pulling you into the mud with them so they don't feel alone in their misery. And when you refuse to step into that mud, when you refuse to give them the reaction they're fishing for, you force them to sit in it by themselves, and that's uncomfortable for them. That's painful for them. Because people who thrive on negativity hate to be reminded of their own emptiness. And your silence, that reminds them. That unsettles them. That takes away the fuel that keeps their fire burning. So don't give it to them. Don't hand over your power just because someone else is trying to make you feel small. Stay silent, stay calm, stay above it. Because that's where you belong. There's a quiet kind of victory that comes when you don't react. When you let someone's insults pass through you like wind through trees. When you let their bitterness fall to the ground without touching your heart. When you choose to respond with nothing but peace. And that victory is sweeter than any argument you could win. Any comeback you could deliver. Any point you could prove. Because in that moment, you're proving something much greater. You're proving to yourself that you are in control. You are the master of your emotions, the protector of your spirit, the keeper of your own peace. And no one, no matter how hard they try, can take that from you unless you allow it. The truth is, your silence is a mirror. It reflects back to people their own intentions, their own ugliness, their own emptiness. And when they're forced to face that, without your reaction to distract them, it leaves them with nothing. That's when they begin to realize that they have no power over you. That's when you truly win. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, tries to pull you into their storm, remember this: your reaction is their fuel. Your anger feeds their purpose. Your frustration feeds their control. Your sadness feeds their satisfaction. But your silence, that starves them. That empties them. That forces them to face the reality that they can't control you, can't shake you, can't pull you into their storm unless you let them. And in that moment, you become untouchable. You become powerful, you become free. Because when you choose not to react, you choose to protect your peace above all else. And that choice, that's the choice of someone who knows their worth. Someone who knows that their energy is too precious to waste on battles that don't matter, on people who don't deserve it, on noise that adds nothing to their life. So stand firm. Hold your silence. And watch as the power shifts back to where it belongs. In your hands. There is a kind of victory that speaks louder than any words, louder than any argument, louder than any reaction you could ever give. It's the victory of silence. The victory of letting your actions, your success, your growth be the only reply anyone ever gets. Because here's the truth. People will doubt you, mock you, provoke you, and wait for you to stumble. They'll expect you to argue, to defend, to prove yourself with words, but the most powerful thing you can do is stay silent. And focus on building, focus on growing, focus on becoming so strong, so unshakable that your success leaves them speechless. When you win in silence, you're not trying to convince anyone of your worth. You're showing it, living it, embodying it. You're letting your results speak where your voice chooses not to. And that kind of reply silences every critic, every hater, every doubter, because it's undeniable, because it's real, because it comes not from trying to prove them wrong, but from staying true to yourself and rising no matter what they say or do. That is how you win. That is how you leave your mark without ever saying a word. When you stop wasting your energy on reacting to negativity, you free yourself to put that energy into what really matters: your purpose, your vision, your dreams. You stop feeding the noise around you and start feeding the fire within you. And that fire, that inner drive, that determination will take you places that words never could. Because no one can argue with results. No one can debate the evidence of your growth, your strength, your perseverance. And here's the beauty of it. The very people who once tried to break you will have no choice but to watch as you rise. They'll see that while they were busy trying to pull you down, you were busy building yourself up. And nothing unsettles them more than realizing that their words, their doubts, their attempts at control had no effect. That your silence wasn't weakness, it was focus, it was power. It was the quiet, unstoppable force of someone who knows that the best revenge, the best reply, the best victory is found in becoming everything they said you couldn't be. You see, silence doesn't mean doing nothing. Silence means doing more of what counts. It means putting your head down, blocking out the noise, and working in the shadows while the world watches and waits for you to fall. It means taking every insult, every doubt, every attempt to break you and turning it into fuel, not to argue, not to fight, but to build, to create, to succeed. And as you rise quietly, as you accomplish what they thought was impossible, as you turn your pain into power and your struggle into strength, the silence becomes deafening because they can no longer deny what they see. They can no longer pretend your success isn't real. They can no longer use their words to cover their failure, to stop you. And in that moment, you win. Not because you shouted louder, not because you proved your point, but because you stayed focused on what really matters. And that's a victory that can never be taken from you. People expect you to react. They expect you to waste your time and energy defending yourself, explaining yourself, proving yourself to them. But when you choose to stay silent and let your success be the reply, you take away their power. You leave them with nothing to hold on to. You leave them standing in their own bitterness while you move forward, step by step toward your goals. And that silence eats at them more than any comeback ever could, because it shows them that they didn't matter enough to distract you, that they didn't have the power to stop you, that their words were as empty as the air they were spoken into. And your success, your growth, your peace, that becomes the loudest message of all. That tells the story they never wanted to hear. The story of how you rose, how you thrived, how you succeeded, not because of them, but in spite of them. That's the kind of reply that leaves a permanent mark. Let your silence be filled with action. Let your days be filled with purpose. Let your heart be set on what truly matters, not proving anyone wrong, but proving yourself right, because at the end of the day, that's what winning is really about. It's not about silencing others. It's about building a life so full, so rich, so meaningful that their voices simply fade into the background. And when you choose to let success be your reply, you stop living for their approval, their validation, their applause. You start living for your own growth, your own dreams, your own peace. And that's the most powerful choice you can make. Because no one can argue with a life well lived. No one can tear down a foundation built on hard work, resilience, and faith. No one can take away what you've earned in silence. And that's what makes your success the most powerful reply of all. So don't waste your time on noise. Don't waste your breath on battles that don't matter. Don't let your energy be drained by people who only want to see you fall. Put all of that energy, all of that fire, all of that strength into becoming who you were always meant to be. Put it into building, creating, growing, healing, thriving. And as you do, let your success speak for you. Let it be the answer to every critic, every hater, every doubter. Let it be the proof that you didn't need to react, didn't need to argue, didn't need to explain. You only needed to rise. And rise you did, in silence, in strength, in victory. Because the loudest reply is the one that doesn't need to be spoken. It's the life you live, the peace you keep, the success you build, the joy you claim. And that reply, that's the reply no one can deny. In the end, what truly defines your strength is not how loud you can be in the face of challenges, but how quietly you can rise above them. When you stop reacting to every voice that tries to provoke you, you begin to understand the real power of silence. Silence protects your peace. Silence guards your dignity. It keeps you focused on what truly matters while the world tries to pull you into battles that aren't worth fighting. And when you choose not to react, when you choose to let your success be your only reply, you become untouchable. People will try to fuel their own emptiness with your reaction, but when you give them nothing, they're left to sit with their own bitterness. And while they are caught in their own storms, you're out there building your life step by step, in peace, in strength, and with purpose. You see, winning isn't about proving anyone wrong with words. It's about proving yourself right with action. It's about choosing growth over arguments, peace over pride, and success over noise. When you let your achievements speak, when you let your character shine through your silence, you win in a way no one can deny. No one can argue with a life that's full of purpose, joy, and strength. No one can diminish success that was earned through resilience and patience. So stay focused, stay grounded, stay silent when silence serves you, and let your life be the loudest reply. Remember that the storms others try to bring your way can only touch you if you open the door. Keep that door closed, keep your peace guarded, keep your eyes on what truly matters. Your silence, your focus, your success, they are your greatest weapons, your greatest answers, your greatest victory. Thank you for giving your heart and your mind to these words today. May you walk in peace. May you rise in strength. And may your silence always speak louder than any noise the world throws at you. God bless you and stay strong.